Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So in today's episode of Career Connect, we have Somil Sarkar with us, who's a senior Scrum Master in Canada. So today's episode is going to be super interesting, so stay tuned. Hi Somil, how are you?
I'm good, Yashashree. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So Somil, can you tell me about your career graph and your entire journey?
So, yeah, I started off as a business analyst and a product owner at TCS, interestingly, and I that was my first journey in financial services. So I've been most of my career through financial services. Um, I worked with the likes of PwC and also TransUnion, which is a big organization across the world today. And I worked as a product owner initially and then transitioned myself into a Scrum Master role. I've also worked with a lot of the banks here and credit unions in Canada, thanks to TransUnion. And I worked with TD as well, TD Securities, which was a great role, a lot of learning. Right now, my current role is with Canada Life as a senior Scrum Master.
Okay, that's amazing. So as a Scrum Master, what does a day in your life look like?
It's going to be different across organizations. So the ideal situation or ideal scenario is going to be 50% of execution, where uh, a Scrum Master ensures like they have like their daily Scrum events or any regular cadence with their teams to focus on delivery, right? Because the role involves that delivery needs to happen on time, and goals need to be met. That's going to be like 50% of the role. Working with the team, working with the product owner, and working one-on-one as well with the team members for deliverables, right? The remaining time I'm going to divide. So this is going to be flexible again, right? Based on the company. 25% maybe just focus on team improvements. So the Scrum Master also needs to like observe and listen and come up with a plan to how to make the team better, how to make them efficient, how to make sure like all the metrics are documented through Jira or whichever agile tool that you're using. The remaining time is going to be like purely networking and collaboration with stakeholders, right? This is not for specifically the active deliverables that the team is working on, but to gauge or anticipate what new work is coming for the team, right? And the role of a Scrum Master is to be an agent, a change agent, a trusted advisor for the organization. So they need to be representing their team for any new changes that come in, and before it goes into hands-on keyboard and ground level for actual delivery. So yeah, that's probably 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so like what according to you are the qualities of a Scrum Master?
So it's a very hu- human role and human and psychological role as well, right? As a Scrum Master. So apart from the general like qualities that come with any job, like active listening, observation, logical inference, um, and working situations have changed over time with we were virtual for a lot of time like after the pandemic started. So I'm going to say like a lot of patience is needed, a lot of empathy is needed. Like different team members have like different things happening in their life. So uh, when you perform the role in a virtual setup, it can become very challenging, right? As with any job, I'm going to say like that's really important. And it also makes it difficult for the ability to gain trust, right? So how well you connect with your team members and how well you maintain relationship with your stakeholders. um, you have to be able to read between the lines to understand what is it that each stakeholder wants for delivery, and then uh, you know uh, basically like leadership, facilitation, good collaboration obviously comes with good communication as well, and good rapport with team members. I'm also going to say coaching and mentorship, because a lot of team members may be having varied amount of experiences. So as a Scrum Master, uh, giving them a third person's perspective is very important. Also being able to logically infer what are the improvement areas, that's a very important trait of a Scrum Master. So I believe like these are the main qualities. There's a lot more which come with experience, but I think this is a good starting point.
Okay, great. So if a candidate wants to become a Scrum Master, so
Yeah.
like what should he keep in mind before getting into this field?
So things to keep in mind would be like a the person needs to, or the role needs to be making a change in any organization, right? And I'm
Mm,
not saying a complete overhaul. It could be a gradual process. So the person themselves have to be open to bringing change and open to change themselves, right? Some of their ways may not be perfect, may not be in line with what the organization needs, so they need to be able to adapt themselves, right? That's the first thing. Second thing, as I mentioned about logical inference, so applying sound judgment about when delivery is getting impacted, or when is it that you need to involve someone. That's something that is like really important when you need to get feedback, because agile is an iterative process. So um, it's important to get you know some product demos or stuff like that in front of the customer or stakeholders to make sure that we get regular feedback, right? So the scrum master does have to be able to prompt that or be very preemptive about that, right? So that's going to be very important. um, and one of the things I was mentioning, that don't go with a mindset that you have to make a huge amount of change right from the day one, right? Because that's only going to add undue amount of pressure on yourself for performing that role, right? So big overhaul is not necessarily needed. So that's something that we have to keep in mind. Interesting that you mentioned that. Like one of the roles that I applied to, like in the past, I got selected, and like I just asked for some feedback, and they said like all the previous candidates said that, oh, I will change everything that you guys are doing, right? So um, at the time, I obviously didn't know that, but that's something that I learned over time, right? So you have to be doing that. The other two things I would say is like one is soft skills. So that's one of the, like in the qualities that I mentioned, soft skills are really important. So um, not everyone has the personality to be like a people person. At some point of time, even I wasn't. So it comes with time, right? But you have to step out of your comfort zone a lot as a scrum master, and then just make sure that, okay, I'm making some improvement day over day, right? So you have your own plan as well, like, okay, how am I going to become better every day, right? That's something you have to do. And the last quality would be spending time with the team, right?
mm,
To make good rapport with anyone, you need to be investing time. You need to understand what their mindset is, what good things they have, what things they can they improve, right? So that's something that is also important. Not like, as I was saying, not everyone has the same personality or the style of working, so that is going to be coming with experience.
mm. Amazing, yeah. So in like 2023 or maybe 2 years down the line,
Right.
do you think this profile has scope specifically in Canada?
I would say like everywhere, right? So I see like a lot of roles across the world, like Canada, US, and like other places as well, like UK, Australia. I know India is like very big on IT, so
Mm,
it's a big role for them. Like and yeah, like even the other roles, right? Like technical roles nowadays, we're seeing like cloud architect and DevOps and stuff like that. So it does have a lot of scope, but getting good people obviously is a challenge for companies because there's so much supply and like
mm.
less demand. So it can be a challenge right now, but I'm sure it's in demand right now.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. So how is the job market in Canada as a Scrum Master?
Like a lot of roles right now that are coming up. I'm going to say like in the summer this year in Canada, it was like, at least in the Greater Toronto area, it was quite slow because of just the Canada is not going through a very good time economically, and US is doing, I would say, like comparatively much better. So, but overall, like things were quite slow in the summer and even in the fall. Um, but just it depends on the financial year of the companies as well. And like for example, top five banks have like an October to like November to October financial year. Other companies have like calendar year financial year as well. So a lot of budgets get approved, and they come up as soon as their new year like starts, right? Right now, we're just heading into Christmas, so it's going to be slow. But I expect like between January to March, things will pick up a lot. So yeah.
That's nice. So if somebody wants to become a Scrum Master or
Yeah.
if they want to change their field
Right.
as a Scrum Master, so what certifications would you recommend?
So even before certifications, I would say like if you're changing a field, uh, right now a lot of events happen virtually. Lot of events happen like in person. So you need to make your presence felt. I'm going to say that because and like attend meetups or conferences or any like networking events, right, for that matter. So that's really important, right? In terms of certifications, I'm just going to divide it in like obviously there are like a lot of categories. Like the basic ones would be like CSM from Scrum Alliance, PSM, um, CSPO, which is the product owner certifications, and SAFE also, right? A lot of organizations are moving towards SAFE because they want to collaborate better and then make change. So SAFE Scrum Master, SAFE for teams, and stuff like that. We also have like I think PMI ACP, which is also an Agile certified practitioner. So that's the basic set of certifications I'm going to say. The advanced ones, like once you have like 3 4 years of experience and you want to take your expertise to the next level, I'm going to say like ICP, ACC, which is for agile coaching. Then you have SPC, which is like the safe practitioner, a certified practitioner. So and what else? Yeah, you have RTE as well if you want to be a release train engineer. That's also like a very niche role. It's a very difficult role to play like an agile coach. um, uh, One last one would be like lean portfolio management. That's by SAFE again. So companies which focus on reducing waste, they go for like lean methodology more or less. So that's also going to be one of the important certifications. But I'm gonna I'm gonna say with a pinch of salt that certifications are only going to be on your profile, right? More like a checklist item. Getting more experience is going to be like more key, right? So make your presence felt, I would say, in networking events, and then ask for feedback, right? There's no harm in asking for feedback on resume, feedback on LinkedIn profile. Um, a lot of people I found were very helpful. So, that's something that we should do on an ongoing basis, regardless of your experience, right? It's important to have a mentor and then, do that.
Yeah. Um, so if you have to like hire a candidate, what
Right.
qualities do you look in him or her?
So I'm going to say like if like as a scrum master or a product owner, if I'm hiring someone, I'm going to look at basically thought process, right?
Mm.
Um, Scrum master or product owner is not necessarily someone who will have all the solutions themselves, right? But to get ideas out of the team, to be able to facilitate and encourage and motivate the team, to make sure that they are getting more creative and then making sure they think holistically and then provide solutions. That's Getting that out of the team is going to be like the top quality that I would see. um, Obviously knowing all the subject matter in terms of frameworks, being a very good person in terms of like reading up on what's happening in the world of agile, reading a lot of books, and a lot of situation based questions is also what I ask in interviews. We did that in like one of our previous roles, so that we get an idea about how the candidate thinks, how well will they fit into the role, right? So yeah, I've mentioned the other qualities as well, like those are going to be given. If we think that that's probably not a good match in terms of all the qualities and being like that's kind of like a checklist, so then it's going to be probably not a good fit, right? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. So if anybody is applying for a product owner role or a Scrum
Yeah.
Master,
Yeah.
so what he or she should have it in the resume so that it
Right.
makes it stand out.
Right. So the first thing is like the resume needs to be in a functional format. Like a lot
Mm.
of people coming from different markets, worked in different markets, so they don't necessarily have their resume in a standard format. That's one of the key challenges for any role, right? So I'm going to say that that's a basic. Get feedback, as I was saying, on resume and LinkedIn profile as much as possible from people in the industry, so that they have like more related experience, right? So that's something that you should do. Highlight your experience very concisely in terms of responsibilities. I feel like focus on quality over quantity, right? Resumes should be generally like 1 to 2 pages, and then just make sure like you're focusing on key responsibilities which make an impact to the role that you're applying. You'll prepare a standard template, obviously, and then customize it based on the role, right? So that's something that you can do. And then I'm gonna say put the responsibilities in a way that a hiring manager in whatever market you're applying, if we're saying Canada here, so a Canadian hiring manager can understand, right? Some of the projects may not be understood in the same way that you're working in back in a different market, and then he or she as a hiring manager can understand. So that's something that has to be done. In terms of you can also mention like some like descriptions of what projects you work on. Like that's important for a product owner, I would say, because that shows like how much domain experience they have, what specific domains can they actually take up, like without a lot of training, right? So that's something that they can do. um, I'm also going to say, like, for interviews, you need to have a lot of examples. Like for every experience, you need to have like at least 1 or 2 examples to say how you made a difference and how did you come out of a difficult situation, right? So that's something that you can do, right? For Scrum Master, I think again, this similar thing goes in, right? Like how was the team before, like when you took up the role, and then what kind of improvements that you did. A lot of people say put metrics in the resume as much as possible. It is good, definitely, but it is not possible every time, right? So it's going to come with experience, I would say. So yeah, and as I said, no overhaul is needed as part of a transformation, like from the day one. It has to be collaborative, it has to be discussed, and like backed up by leadership as well. So make sure that you talk to as many people, and then get things done.
Thank you so much, Somil, for your valuable time. I'm sure people who watch this video will surely be benefited by this. If you have any queries, please write it in the comment below and we'll make sure that we answer all of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.